So if you're a gamer, you know what a nerf is, right? It's when a developer deliberately makes a powerful weapon or character weaker to balance the game. But what happens when that same idea escapes the video game world and gets applied to your life, to something you own? That's what we're talking about today. We're doing a deep dive into what we're calling the Asset Nerf, the bizarre story of how Canada's most popular, most reliable cars are being systematically turned into financial liabilities right in your own driveway. Okay, let's just jump right in because this one comment from a driver on Reddit, it just perfectly sums up the entire insane paradox we're looking at. Imagine this. You have a perfect driving record. You bought a sensible family car, and suddenly it's cheaper to insure a high-performance luxury car. How does that even happen? How did a Honda CR-V somehow become a bigger insurance risk than a Porsche 911? That's the mystery we're going to unravel. All right, so our investigation starts with a new cost that's just appearing out of thin air on insurance renewals everywhere. We're calling it the driveway tax. And it's the first real clue that everything you thought made your car a smart buy, its popularity, its reliability, are now the very things you're being punished for. Get a load of this number, $1,500. And no, this isn't some made-up example. This is a real line item, a high theft risk surcharge that's being slapped onto policies for some of the most common cars out there. This is a huge change in how things work. It's a tax not based on your driving, but based entirely on the car you own. It's the price you now have to pay for having a popular car in a market that has just gone completely off the rails. So let's be really clear about what we're calling this. This is an asset nerf. Your car is the same, it's the same reliable machine you researched and bought, but the rules of the game have been totally rewritten around it. Outside forces, the insurance companies, the thieves, the global market, they've changed the code, making your asset way more expensive and way more risky to own. Its value to you is being actively pushed down. And here it is, the fundamental problem, laid out plain as day. On one side, you've got your view, this is a safe, dependable car for your family. It's a part of your life. On the other side, you have the insurer's new reality. It's a high-risk liability, it's a magnet for criminals, and huge insurance payouts. These two views of the exact same car, they just can't exist together. And the numbers? They're just mind-boggling. Forget the surcharge for a second and just look at the premium itself. The baseline here is the average premium in the province. Okay, but for a Toyota Highlander, like the classic family SUV, the markup can be more than 116%. Just let that sink in. You are paying more than double the average. That puts a family car in the same insurance category as a supercar. It makes absolutely no sense. But believe it or not, that $1,500 surcharge, that's just the price of admission. The next level of this asset nerf goes way beyond just taking your money. It's a whole new set of rules that you can't negotiate, and they're designed to take away your choices, and in some cases, your most important financial protection. We're calling this the insurer's hard lock. So, to get this next part, you have to know about this one critical piece of your insurance policy for a new car. It's called the waiver of depreciation. Here's how it works. Let's say you buy a new car for $40,000. A month later, it's stolen. The car's cash value might have already dropped to, say, 36 grand. Without the waiver, that's all you get. But with the waiver, you get the full $40,000 you originally paid. It is the single best way to protect yourself from a huge immediate financial hit. And here's the trap. This is the hard lock. Insurance companies are now flat out refusing to give you that essential waiver of depreciation unless you play by their rules. And their rule is this: you have to install a specific insurer-approved tracking system, like TAG, and you have to pay for it yourself. If you say no, then you don't get the waiver. End of story. And what makes this even crazier for car owners is that there's no standard. It's just chaos. One company might say you need a $600 tracker to get the waiver. Another might just hit you with the surcharge but not require the hardware. A third might be fine with a simple steering wheel lock. So now the entire burden is on you, the customer, to try and figure out this mess of confusing rules just to get the coverage you're paying for. And this is exactly how your shiny, expensive new car gets financially bricked. Just follow the steps. You buy your new SUV, you hesitate to pay extra for a tracker you don't want. A week later, your car is gone. And because you didn't have the waiver, the insurance company only pays out the depreciated value. Boom! You're instantly out thousands of dollars, and you still have a car loan that's now worth more than the check they just sent you. So why? Why is all of this happening? It's really easy to just blame the insurance companies for these fees and new rules. But honestly, their actions, they're not the cause of the problem. They're a reaction, a desperate defense against something much bigger and much more powerful. To really understand what's going on, we have to follow the money. And that money trail leads from a quiet street in Canada straight to a massive global criminal operation. This is the real question, isn't it? Why has your family SUV suddenly become a prime target for a multi-billion-dollar international crime ring? Well, the answer, like it usually is incredibly simple. It's all about profit. 200%. This number right here, this is the key to everything. This isn't kids joyriding. This is a cold, hard business model called international arbitrage. A Honda CR-V stolen from a driveway in Canada can be packaged up, shipped overseas, and sold for 2, sometimes 3 times its Canadian value in places like Lagos or Dubai. The profit is just too big for criminals to ignore. And this isn't some amateur hour operation. The criminal playbook is shockingly advanced. They have entire logistics chains set up. Your stolen SUV gets driven to a port, packed in a shipping container, and the official paperwork is faked to say it's just used personal goods. Or they do something even smarter called re-vinning, where they clone the ID number from a legal car in another country, creating a ghost vehicle that just sails right through customs. Okay, so now that we've seen the global picture, let's bring it all the way back down to the person who's caught in the middle of this. You, the car owner. Because if you think having your car stolen is the worst part of all this, you're wrong. The real nightmare, this awful, confusing legal purgatory that starts the second you call the police. Instead of being treated like a victim, the whole process flips on its head. You're suddenly in a suspect-first investigation. The insurers are losing millions, so they might force you into what's called an examination under oath. And this is not a friendly chat. This is their lawyers grilling you with intensely personal questions about your finances, your debts, your habits. Did you leave your key fob by the door? Are you struggling with your payments? The message is pretty clear. They're investigating you for fraud. Okay, so let's say you're finally cleared. You still walk straight into a logistical disaster. Look at this timeline. Day 1, your car's gone. Your insurance probably gives you a rental car for about 30 days. Here's the kicker. With all the supply chain problems, the wait for a new popular SUV can be up to 19 months. That leaves you in what we call the rental gap, potentially for over a year and a half with no car and no help paying for one. And here's the final punch. Your rental car coverage, it doesn't last until you find a new car. No, it ends the second the insurance company cuts you a check. So they can pay you out on day 35, and you have to return the rental that same day. You're left with money in your bank account, but completely stranded with no car available to actually buy for months. So, after all of this, it really leaves us with one very uncomfortable question. You pay your premium every month. You have a policy that says full coverage, but when you look at the surcharges that penalize your choices, the hardware rules that take away your control, the investigations that treat you like a criminal, and the logistical traps that leave you stranded, you really have to ask yourself, your car is insured, but are you actually protected?